This segment brought to you by Kansas Soybean Commission. Progress powered by Kansas farmers.
What's that? Timmy's in a well? Is that what you're trying to say, Lassie? Okay. Well, Dr. Jake is going to kill me. He's been working on this telegraph, getting these pieces to work because he wants to set up a telegraph demonstration in July. And so we've got these telegraph parts, and I swear he had it all working so that if you actually tapped here, it would come over here.
Huh.
And in I was going to say in my just moving it, but no, it's just my touching it. It's just being in my presence that it just all... Okay, that obviously is not right. All right, I don't know. I'm sorry, honey. I blew it. But you get the picture. So can you imagine relying on this to get a message to somebody?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was.
It was the iPhone of its day, wasn't it? It was.
That was high tech.
It was high tech.
I haven't seen one of these in a long, long time.
Is that how you got messages when you were a kid, Frank?
Yes, it was. Please come home now.
The telegraph, of course, was a big deal, and especially, in the middle of America, you're connecting both coasts, and you're connecting. The telegraph, of course, follows the railroad across America, and it is very, very important for a long time until Steve Jobs and all this stuff came along. But you got a pretty cool story coming up about the telegraph.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a history. All right, this is a pretty cool story.
We can speak to anyone around the world, see them while we speak, and it happens instantly and cheaply. In this era, it is difficult to imagine how miraculous the telegraph was. The telegraph was a machine invented in the early 1800s. It made use of electricity, which was still somewhat of a novelty at the time, to transmit messages. A very early version, created by a German inventor, was an electrochemical telegraph. It was a very complicated machine and required the analysis of bubbles that were released to correspond with certain letters. Other versions followed until 1837, when another American inventor, Samuel Morse, developed a new model of an electric telegraph, along with a very unique way of communicating with it. There were several other inventors at the time who were also trying to get recognition for their telegraph prototypes, but in the end, it was Morse who succeeded in the legal battle. Morse, a native of Massachusetts, was heavily involved in math and science studies, specifically those relating to electricity. When he received a note delivered by a messenger one day, he was horrified to read that she was seriously ill. By the time he arrived to see her, his dear wife had already died. Despite the tragedy, his grave incident inspired Morse to develop a better and faster system of communication. After learning about electromagnets, Morse used them to develop a telegraph system. He filed a patent for it and also came up with a system of Morse code to communicate through his new machine. Unlike earlier languages and codes, Morse code was so simple that it could be duplicated in audio, light flashes, or print. It was essentially a system of dots and dashes in print that corresponded with each letter of the alphabet. Morse code became such a successful way to communicate that it became the main way that telegraphs functioned around the world. When World War II broke out, telegraph systems experienced a massive surge as they allowed troops and leaders to communicate discreetly over very long distances. Many post offices were also outfitted with the telegraph machine so that they could receive and deliver telegrams for citizens. However, by the time telephones started to come into public use, the need for telegrams started to decline, and eventually the technology was largely phased out.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
Valley Vet Supply.